Hey guys, welcome back to week number 12 of the Sharp Goat Photo Challenge. Thank you for pressing play, giving us a listen. To those who submitted, thank you very much for sending in your macro shots for this week's macro challenge. And for those who are just watching, picking up some photography tips or just kind of curious, a little photo curious, wondering if they should get involved in the challenge, please do. If you want some more information on the challenge, head on over to sharpgoat.com/blog to see how you can get involved. Updates on the challenge go up there. This next week's challenge is going to be challenge number 13, shadowplay. So we're going to be looking at what can be done with shadows, either those created naturally by the sun or those that you create on your own. I'm looking for some creativity, especially seeing as how if you're in my neck of the woods for the next week, the sun won't be shining very much for the next week. It's supposed to rain all week, but hence the word challenge. So I want people to get creative with what they can see with shadows outside, inside, all over the place. It can be done, so I implore you to do it. So if you're here to check out some of the critiques for this week's macro shots, stay tuned and enjoy. Okay, and now we're moving on to Kim Lawrence's. Kim, thank you so very much for submitting. Let's see what you got. Forest Bloom. Try to get a decent shot of this trout lily on manual. Ended up switching to aperture. Haven't given up on manual. Just experimenting. Sprayed some water on the plant to achieve the bokeh effect. Oh, that is so very nice. That extra touch. You went the extra mile with it. Shot in RAW, minor tweaks in Lightroom. Beautiful. That is beautiful. I love how you added something extra to it, sprayed some water on it, and look at this glistening effect that it got here. That just added so much more to it. That's a beautiful thing to have added to the shot. I love it very much. It's a wonderful comp here, just because of the lines that kind of lead us into it a little bit here. Why don't I cover my mouth more as I talk? That makes a lot of sense. And you see this, the droplets of water here. It's just beautiful, the detail that you see here. I like it very much, very solid. Little spring flowers, minor tweaks in Lightroom. Okay, again, I can only assume you still added water to this as well. And that's another thing. You see something naturally, but then as it lies, but then when you feel there's something missing, and then you add that something, you try to add to what's already there. It's a great place when you get to that point where you start experimenting, and so you see things as they are, but then say, what if I just add this? What if I try to accent that? What if I try to just add a little bit of light on this side, or add water over here? I love getting to that place. And this is a good choice here. I love these giant droplets of water here. Beautiful color, the purple against the green and the dark earthy colors of the ground. I like it. Good job. Spring yellow, shot in RAW, bumped up in the clarity. RAW tends to soften images somewhat. I haven't noticed that. That's a little bit strange. So this one here, and you're on a 30mm macro. I think that's all your shots are with a 30mm macro. Yeah, beautiful. Nice, getting up nice and close. This one, very cool. Yellow dominant over the entire image, just filling the frame with it. Focus is, in my opinion, a little stray. I think focus should be here. Focus is on this one here, my eye, because there's so much yellow. My eye is just going to kind of center in on the image. So it feels like focus should be here, not here, but that's up to you. This would also be good for an upcoming challenge. Hint, hint, it's going to have a lot to do with color. Just focusing on one color, that might be the challenge. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, I like this one. Let's see here. Going back. Bird's eye. Cool. Dig it very much. And looking for something new, something different. Other than flowers, I like that. There's nothing wrong with looking at flowers. Macro photography, people tend to default to flowers. That's absolutely fine. But if you look for something a little bit more, you find something like this. Very cool. And I love how blown out the background you get here. It looks a little bit busy, but luckily it's so soft, the background, you can't even tell what's back there, so it's not even very distracting. It's cool. I'm sorry, I want to try to give more. I feel I was weak on this one. It's cool. I'm wondering, there is something missing from it. I wonder what it could be. It is a neat looking bird. It almost doesn't feel macro. It feels like it should be even closer. I'm not sure how small this bird must be, but it feels like you could get closer, especially if you're calling it bird's eye. Get right up into that bird's face. Gee, I don't know. I don't know what may be missing from it, but it's not doing too much for me, so I'll move on. Spring flowers edited in Photoshop to remove a few imperfections on the flower because they bugged me. Okay, I wouldn't have done that. I'm curious now what the imperfections may have been. If I would even call them imperfections. I usually let stuff like that lie, but you're the photographer. It's up to you. This is nicely framed, nicely composed. I like this, where it's just lower in the frame here. Nice white against all green background. Yeah, loving this. It looks like focus landed right around here. It's really tough, with macros especially. It's really tough to land focus precisely where you want it. It looks like for the most part you got it. It's at 5.6, so it's giving you just a little bit of leeway. Yeah, I like that. I may have opened it up a bit more, although you're 1/640. So maybe, yeah, I would have eased off on the shutter just a little bit to try and close it up just a bit more to try and get most of the flower in focus. Just what I would have done. You don't have to do that there. I think it's a very nice shot. So if I were to pick a favorite, yeah, going back to the forest bloom here, boom. I very much like that one. Very, very much. I just love I love the composition of this. I love the color. I love the fact that it's not a full bloom flower. It's I don't know if it's dying or if it's in the middle of coming to life, but it's not a typical flower, and it's got a little bit of water droplet. It looks a little sad. I like it. It's got a bit of emotion to it. Kind of tells a story. I dig it. So thank you very much for submitting this week, Kim. I'm loving your shots every week. Really do appreciate it. I can't wait to see what you come up with next week.